you, right?
Because we do need to have the organised production of food. We can't rely upon everybody to grow their own food. It will not work. The same way that we can't rely upon everybody to invent cars for themselves.
Okay, so here's some conclusions you've come to.
Yes.
Here's some conclusions.
Yes.
Some
Do
more
you ever use the
conclusions.
bus? Do you ever use the train?
Conclude. What does conclude mean?
Conclude?
Yeah.
I have to go through the...
What does it mean? What does conclude mean?
It means to finish.
Yeah. Conclusion is when you stop thinking about things. And you, for example, have decided without any further investigation, you are sure, once again about something, you are sure that it wouldn't work if we grew our own food.
I'm sure.
How can you be sure about that?
I'm sure we could all, to a certain extent, grow our own food. I'm saying it would not be an efficient system, and I don't believe we would feed people as adequately as we do today.
Yeah, I know you don't. But where did you get your information from?
I think it's common sense.
Oh, do you? No, that's what everyone says about their ideas.
Really?
Yeah, but here's a possibility.
Don't you believe in?
What about just
if you have economies of scale, whereby by having specialists do specialised tasks, we achieve more than we could by having everybody do everything.
Yeah, I've heard about economies of scale.
Do you believe in it?
Yeah, I don't believe in beliefs.
You don't believe in beliefs.
That's right. Because whenever I take on a belief,
I have a problem with a philosophy which dictates that we cannot come to any conclusions whatever, because to do so is to close our mind. Therefore, we have to entertain all sorts of notions and never come to any conclusions at all, and simply to let these thoughts swirl around in our heads, and therefore criticise people that seem to have made some conclusions, such as politicians or such as me, or such people that go about their everyday existence, growing food for the masses or creating transportation systems and so on. You decide that these people are somehow misguided because they don't stand here every day out of the sun thinking all these thoughts that you have and not coming to any conclusions whatever, because that's being very judgmental to come to a conclusion. I reject that. I embrace the idea that people should, by all means, debate these things with themselves. But certain things I think are almost self-evident.
Okay.
Such as the fact that
It's funny how you think the things that you think are self-evident. Did you ever wonder that maybe they're not self-evident? Do you ever wonder that perhaps, in terms of bringing up your child, that actually there are some things that he might be able to teach you if you're open to the possibility that you actually are mistaken about things?
I'm not saying that I know all the answers. I'm simply saying that I have come to some conclusions about some of the answers, and some of the answers I think are fairly easy to conclude. And I do not accept that all these questions are so difficult as to not admit of solutions.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And I think
I'm not forcing you to do anything.
By nature, a person with a scientific viewpoint, which is that we investigate, we debate, but we are guided by the results of our debate, the results of our investigation. We come towards some conclusion, which is we make a theory and we test it. And my theory, for example, simply, and this is only not a scientific theory, but it's a general theory, is that an economy such as we have in the Western world is the most efficient means by which we can have the greatest good for the greatest number. In other words,
greatest number of what?
People.
What about other life forms?
Oh, okay, good point. I mean, if we ascribe equal merit to the fact that we should allow other life forms to exist to the same level that we do, of course, I can acknowledge the fact that we are possibly, because of the nature of our plague existence, we are negatively impacting almost all of the life forms. Yes.
But you see, you're kind of.
But that's to ascribe to them the importance.
Hold on a second. How long can we continue to destroy other life forms without it actually affecting us?
Well, it's called survival of the fittest, my friend. The fact we are the fittest life form, by definition. I'm reading a book about evolution at the moment. We are the fittest life form. We are the ones that are most able to influence the environment. By definition, we are the fittest. Does that mean we should give the same importance to earthworms as we give to ourselves? No. Do I care about earthworms as much as I care about myself and even yourself? No. I'm sorry, I would like to let earthworms live to the extent that they can, but I don't believe they're as important in my sphere of influence or in my sphere of activity or consciousness as I am, or as mankind is. And therefore, yes, to a certain extent, we do influence the environment to the detriment of other life forms. But I don't see that that's a problem.
Right. Well, I understand that. I don't think that it's. I don't know of a possible way.
Does the lion care when the lion kills an antelope? Is he concerned about the well-being of antelopes? Not at all. He's concerned about his own well-being.
Yes, except lions don't go in and just kill all the antelopes. They don't.
Well, we don't kill all the life forms either.
Yeah, but we go and kill loads of human beings.
Yes, we do.
Millions
not to exterminate
of them.
That's a consequence of the fact that we cannot come because.
Not to exterminate them. How many people have died in the last 100 years in wars altogether? Do you have an idea?
I would assume 60 million, perhaps. Yeah. Maybe 50, 60 million.
But does that concern you at all?
Well, I'm not happy about it, of course. Am I happy that Nazi Germany existed? Not at all. Did it need to be opposed? Absolutely. So being a pacifist is not an option either, because if you're a pacifist, you allow people like Adolf Hitler and his Nazi minions to control all of Europe. If you're a pacifist, you let them run roughshod over you, so you must stand up and oppose people that are homicidal maniacs. Saddam Hussein, is it wise to oppose him? Absolutely. He's another homicidal maniac. Did he kill many of his own people? He killed hundreds of thousands of his own people. They found many mass graves.
Hold on a second.
Do your
You're
research.
so sure that he
Do your
killed.
research.
You're so sure that he killed hundreds of thousands of his own people.
Yes.
And yet you're also sure that the British and American army have only killed 50 to 100,000.
That's my estimation, yes. I'm talking about British American Army.
Where did you get the ideas of that
Well,
information
are you
from?
aware of the mass graves they found in Iraq after the war?
Yes, I am.
They didn't find weapons of mass destruction, admittedly. They have found mass
Surprise,
graves.
surprise.
Well, yes, I acknowledge the fact that we didn't.
And your hero Tony Blair, right? Here's something for you could do, right? Do for me. I'd love it if we get in contact because I like people who have completely opposite views to me. It helps train my mind, helps me understand things, see things from different ways. It's great. I would like to. I will send you a link to the definition of terrorism.
Yeah.
Okay, and you try and explain to me why Tony Blair isn't standing before a court as we speak. Because as far as I'm concerned, what went on in Afghanistan falls right into the lap
Iraq
of the
or
definition. Afghanistan and Iraq. But let's just talk about Afghanistan.
Well, I'm happy to talk about Afghanistan.
Right?
Because it wasn't
Hold on a
true
second.
that
Are
the
you
Taliban-
aware of what the definition of terrorism according to British law is?
I don't know about the definition according to British law, no.
Well, that's important. Because
But I
if
know
they've
what the- I know
broken
the
it,
generic
if
definition
they've
of terrorist
broken
is
it,
somebody who uses terror to try and instill or to advance a political aim.
doesn't that smell a little bit like something we're doing?
We're not employing terror on the Afghan people
No.
or the Iraq people.
What's terror defined as?
Well, obviously, terror is.
Speak to an Iraqi person and ask him whether they're terrified. Speak to an Afghanistani
Let's go back to Iraq
civilian
for a moment.
and
There's no
tell
war
me
in
if
Iraq
they're
at the moment.
terrified.
There's no war in Iraq. Iraq has a government at the moment. And the fact that there still is levels of violence in Iraq between Shias and Sunnis, between two sects of Islam, I mean, is tragic for the Iraqi people, but it's nothing that we can do anything about. If the Shias hate the Sunnis hate the Shias, that's life. Afghanistan, we actually invaded Afghanistan at the behest of the United Nations because they had sheltered the Taliban. The Taliban in Afghanistan had sheltered Osama bin Laden, and Osama bin Laden had attacked the West, which was a serious mistake, a serious mistake for him.
Did he really hit some of it in South West, did he?
Well, I believe 9/11, of course, was the work of Osama bin Laden. You don't believe that?
I really don't. I find it very hard to believe either story.
Why would you find it hard to believe that?
Well, because
Doesn't
I
the evidence
don't
strongly
understand.
suggest- Do you know who the pilots were of the planes that attacked the?
Well, how do I know who the pilots were? How do you know? How do you know? Hold on a second.
With somebody that doubts all news.
Well, that's
reports.
fine. Then you'll have a problem with me.
I do have a
Yeah,
problem with you.
but I don't understand how a building number 7 just collapsed. I don't understand why there are hundreds of engineers who've got together and created a group of people who are calling for a proper investigation because they, from their engineering understanding, say that it's not possible that aeroplanes would cause buildings to collapse without
I'm very
bombs
happy for
being
you to
there.
give the names of these people because again, I think it's very easy if you're on camera to make these claims without
Okay,
giving
so
me any details.
we'll swap some
Absolutely.
information.
I'm happy to hear that.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Okay, cheers.